Scene script. Ever wondered why the Queen's Guard never smiles? Maybe they've seen too many tourists wearing socks with sandals. Or perhaps they know about the scary side of London's attractions. Intrigued? Stick around. Welcome to our thrilling adventure. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on London's most exciting and somewhat spine-chilling attractions. You know, the kind that make you wish you'd packed an extra pair of undies. We'll be counting down the top 10 spots that are sure to give you a thrill, a chill, and maybe even a chuckle. We're talking about eerie cemeteries, haunted towers, ghostly bus tours, and museums that are more creepy than educational. All the while, we'll be sprinkling in a bit of that classic British humour you know and love. So, buckle up folks, because London's about to get a whole lot scarier. Ready to explore? I hope you've packed your courage along with your camera. At number 10, we have the Tower of London, famous for its crown jewels and infamous for its beheadings. Talk about a royal mess. Now the tower is no ordinary castle. It's a 1,000-year-old fortress with a history as rich as the crown jewels it houses. Its deep dark past is riddled with tales of treachery, imprisonment, and of course the odd beheading or two. But as they say, every old house has its ghosts, and the tower is no exception. From the sorrowful cries of Anne Boleyn, who lost her head and supposedly still roams the tower grounds, to the White Lady who haunts the White Tower, there's no shortage of spectral residents. And then there's the two little princes, Richard and Edward, who disappeared under suspicious circumstances and are said to be seen wandering the halls at night. Still eager to visit? Just remember, you might not be alone in those towers. Number 9 on our list is the London Dungeon, a place where history and horror hold hands and take a creepy stroll down memory lane. Imagine stepping into the dark side of London's past, where the city's grim and gruesome history comes to life. The London Dungeon is not just an attraction, it's an immersive 90-minute journey into the past. You'll meet notorious characters like Jack the Ripper and Sweeney Todd, and experience the chilling echoes of the Plague and the Great Fire of London. It's a spine-tingling adventure that blends live actors, special effects, and thrilling rides. This is history with the nasty bits left in, folks. The London Dungeon invites you to step back in time and experience the darker side of the city's history. You'll laugh, you'll scream, and you'll learn a thing or two. So, do you reckon you're brave enough to venture into the depths of the London Dungeon? Think you can handle it? Good luck, because it only gets scarier from here. Next up, the Highgate Cemetery. It's a bit like a garden party, only with more tombstones and less cake. Now this isn't your average cemetery. Highgate has a history as rich as the soil it's built upon. Picture this, it's the Victorian era, and London is running out of places to bury their dearly departed. So, Highgate Cemetery opens its gates in the year 1839, offering a final resting place for over 170,000 souls. But don't let the tranquil scenery fool you. This place is steeped in chilling tales and ghostly encounters. From the infamous Highgate vampire to the shadowy figure of an old woman roaming the grounds, it's a hotbed for the supernatural. And let's not forget the ominous Egyptian Avenue, a path lined with tombs that'll give you the shivers. If you're a fan of the eerie and ethereal, this is one garden party you won't want to miss. Scene script. Number 7 takes us to the London Bridge experience, and no, it's not just about crossing the bridge. Just a stone's throw away from the iconic Tower Bridge, the London Bridge experience is a heart-pounding adventure through the darker side of London's history. This award-winning, frightful attraction brings together elements of history, horror, and humour. You'll be led by actors through a series of interactive shows where you'll come face to face with the Great Fire of London, and if you're not careful, the infamous Jack the Ripper himself. Beneath the bridge, you'll find the London tombs, where the centuries-old skeletons were discovered during the bridge's construction. Here, you'll get a taste of true horror, with live actors and special effects designed to make your skin crawl. But don't worry, it's all in good fun. After all, where else can you get a history lesson and a proper scare at the same time? Ready to cross over to the scary side? Don't say I didn't warn you. At number 6, we're checking into the Clink Prison Museum, And trust me, it's not a 5-star experience. This notorious lockup, dating back to the 12th century, has a history that's as grim as its dank, cold cells. It's named for the clinking sound of the blacksmith's hammer forging the prison's iron bars and shackles, hence the term, "in the clink." This institution was a pioneer in the lock 'em up and throw away the key approach to justice. You could end up here for any number of reasons, from debt to witchcraft, and once you were in, you were unlikely to see daylight again. Over the centuries, the clink has hosted a colourful cast of inmates, including the infamous rogue and vagabond John Overs. His ghost is said to still roam the halls, so keep your ears open for the sound of rattling chains. Think you can handle a night in the slammer? I wouldn't recommend it. Number 5 on our list are the London tombs. Because who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scare in a crypt? Beneath the hustle and bustle of London streets lies a chilling underworld, a place steeped in history and mystery. Welcome to the London tombs, where the past isn't dead, it's not even past. Located in the heart of the city, these ancient crypts are said to be haunted by spirits from the Plague era. Ghoulish whispers, shadowy figures, and eerie sensations are all part of the package in this subterranean scarefest. The London tombs were discovered during the construction of the London Bridge experience in the early 2000s. The tombs date back to the 14th century, a time when the plague swept through the city, claiming thousands of lives. Today, they offer a spine-tingling journey into the capital's catacombs, where the echoes of the past are all too real. Ready to take a walk among the dead? Just remember, they might not be as quiet as you'd think. Number 4 takes us on a chilling stroll with the infamous Jack the Ripper tour. Hold on to your hats, folks. Now, if you're a fan of history that's a touch gruesome, this is the tour for you. The Jack the Ripper tour takes you back to the eerie autumn of 1888, when London's East End was gripped by the terror of a serial killer. As you walk the same streets that Jack the Ripper once did, you'll hear tales of his victims, the investigations, and the mystery that still surrounds his identity. The tour brings to life the grim and gritty reality of Victorian London, as you delve into the dark underbelly of the city's history. The chilling elements of this tour are not for the faint-hearted, but it's a must for those who love a good mystery and aren't afraid of a little gore. Feeling brave enough to walk in the footsteps of a killer? I hope you've got a strong stomach. At number 3, we're hopping on the Ghost Bus tour, all aboard for a ride you won't soon forget. This isn't your average bus tour. No, this one is a theatrical spectacle that takes you on a journey into the darker side of London's history. It's a classic Routemaster bus, but with a twist. This one's painted midnight black, and it's filled with eerie tales and spine-chilling stories. As the bus roams the city streets, you'll hear about infamous characters, gruesome deeds, and chilling ghost stories. From the haunting tale of the Tower of London to the spine-tingling story of Jack the Ripper, the Ghost Bus tour is a thrill ride through the city's past. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a good dose of British humour to lighten the mood. Ready for a ride on the spooky side? Just remember, there's no getting off once the bus starts moving. Number 2 on our list is the Old Operating Theatre Museum. It's a bit like Grey's Anatomy, only with more blood and less drama. Tucked away in the attic of an Old English Baroque church, this museum is home to the oldest surviving operating theatre in Europe. It's a trip back in time to the early 19th century, when surgery was more of a spectator sport than a sterile procedure. Imagine a packed gallery with medical students peering down at the operating table, where surgeons performed their grisly work without the luxury of modern anesthetics or antiseptics. The museum also hosts a collection of medical instruments that would look more at home in a horror movie than a hospital. From bone saws to trepanning drills, these tools give us a chilling glimpse into the brutal realities of Victorian medicine. But it's not all blood and gore. The museum also offers a fascinating insight into the history of medicine and the heroic efforts of those early pioneers. Fancy a trip to the operating room? Just remember, anesthetic not included. And finally, at number 1, we have the British Museum mummies, because nothing screams terrifying quite like a 3,000-year-old corpse. Now, these aren't your everyday mummies. Oh no, They are some of the finest preserved specimens in the world, and their stories, absolutely bone-chilling. You see, these mummies were once high-ranking individuals of the ancient Egyptian society, entombed with all the pomp and glory, only to be discovered millennia later, adding a dash of the macabre to our modern world. Their haunting presence in the British Museum sends a chill down the spine of many a brave visitor. Each mummy, with its intricate wrapping and eerily lifelike features, stands as a testament to the ancient Egyptians' obsession with the afterlife. It's like stepping into a time machine and finding yourself face to face with a piece of history that's as fascinating as it is fearsome. Ready to meet some ancient Egyptians? Just remember, they might not be as dead as you'd think. And there you have it, folks. From ghostly queens to ancient mummies, London certainly has its fair share of frights. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane, shall we? We started our journey with the spine-tingling spectres of the Tower of London. Then, we delved into the dark and gruesome history of the London Dungeon. We strolled through the eerie Highgate Cemetery and braved the London Bridge experience. Our courage was tested at the notorious Clink Prison Museum, and we navigated the spooky depths of the London tombs. We then traced the chilling steps of Jack the Ripper, hopped on the spectral ghost bus tour, and took a peek inside the old operating theatre museum. Finally, we met the ancient residents of the British Museum, the mummies. Quite the rollercoaster of thrills and chills, don't you think? So, still want to visit London? Don't worry, it's not all scares and screams. After all, there's always afternoon tea.